Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me and happy spring to everybody. So in this week's video, I'm headed out to my local Home Depot to see what they have in spring inventory. I've seen them over the last few weeks putting out a lot of different plants and I've been anxiously awaiting when they've gotten everything out and it looks like they do. So I want to bring you guys along with me and take a look at the plants that they do have in stock and also share some information about those plants with you guys. All right, you guys, I'm so excited. So with that, let's get to it. All right, you guys, so we're going to start in the trees and shrubs in the first part of this video. And first we have the fashion azalea, which is a part sun shrub that blooms early to late spring in this beautiful bright pink color. It grows to 36 to 48 inches tall and is cold hardy to -10 degrees Fahrenheit. Next are their drift roses, which are a personal favorite of mine that I have in my garden. These have a great bloom season from spring to frost, prefer full sun, and are hardy in zones 5 through 11. They grow 1.5 feet high and 2.5 feet wide. The apricot drift is slightly different in its hardiness zones, which are zones 4 through 11, as are these pretty pink sweet drift roses. The next few roses that I'm mentioning are new to me at Home Depot. First, they have the 3-gallon My Landscape roses for $29.98. Now, these come in a variety of beautiful colors, and while I haven't heard of the My Landscape collection before, they all looked really pretty and very healthy. They also have the 3-gallon My Bouquet Legend of Rossi bouquet roses for $29.98. And upon looking more into these, I did find that these are hybrid tea roses, which make lovely cut flowers for arrangements. They're also noted as fragrant, low maintenance, and attract pollinators. There's the 3-gallon My Painters collection, and these roses genuinely look like they're painted. These are noted as low maintenance, blooming spring and fall, and are hardy in zones 6 through 9. Next, we have the Garden Spire Gardenia for $24.98, which is part of the Southern Living collection. These are for full to part sun and grow 3 to 4 feet high and 2 feet wide in zones 7 through 10, blooming spring through fall. We have the Red Diamond Compact Loropetalum, which has these lovely burgundy leaves with vibrant red fringe flowers, and it grows to 6 feet high and wide in zones 7 through 10. I'll put a link to my Loropetalum video in the description if you'd like to learn more about these hardy and really diverse shrubs. Next, we have the cast in bronze Distilleum for $24.98 that has pretty bronze maroon colored new growth maturing to green. This shrub is noted for hardiness zones 7 through 10 and grows 3 to 4 feet high and wide. There's the Arrow Point Japanese Holly for $59.98 that's noted for full sun and it grows 5 to 10 feet tall in a pyramidal habit. Now, I love the foliage color of this next shrub, which is the Liane Cleara. This is a full sun shrub that grows 10 to 12 feet high and 6 to 7 feet wide with maroon colored new foliage, then evergreen leaves that also turn maroon in fall. This shrub is noted as hardy in USDA zones 7 through 10. Next is the Dragon Prince Cryptomeria, which is a full sun, lower growing plant growing to 2 to 3 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide and is hardy in USDA zones 6 through 9. What I particularly love about this shrub is the texture, which feels like a succulent to me. This has a rounded growth habit and has pretty light green foliage. They have the Echo Swan Maiden Reblooming Gardenia for $30.98. This is a full sun evergreen shrub with fragrant, heavy spring flowering that's noted to grow to 3 feet tall and wide, but can grow larger as it ages. I don't recall seeing this one before, which is the Snow and Summer Asian Jasmine. I really like the mix of pink and white and green foliage color here. This jasmine is noted to bloom early to midsummer with a height of 12 to 24 inches and can be used as a ground cover or in containers. We have the Everest Evercolor Carrots for part shade to shade that grows 18 inches high and wide. This is noted as a ground cover or container plant that is low maintenance and grows in a mounding habit that has pretty striped foliage. Then we have the bright colored Evercolor Everillo sedge, which is a favorite of mine to use in larger containers. This one grows to 12 to 18 inches high and wide in part to full shade and is marked at $9.98. Now, I took this container over to the Laura Petalums just to give an idea of how the darker colors like burgundy of the Laura Petalum look so nice to me when paired with a brighter color like the sedge and really makes the sedge color pop. I also like to use them against darker backgrounds or in a shadier area because it really stands out and helps brighten up a shadier spot. We have the Autumn Bonfire Encore Azaleas, which bloom spring, summer, and fall, and these are marked at $24.98. Now, I think they'll be getting even more azaleas in the next few weeks, and we'll really be able to see all the different colors offered. This one has the lovely bright red color, like you see here, and then there's the Autumn Lily variety with this pretty white and pink coloration as well. They have baby gem boxwoods that grow to 4 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide. They're marked for full sun to part shade and are hardy to zones 5 through 9. Now, I really like the texture of this next plant, which is the Utopia Plum Yew. This one is noted for part shade to shade and grows 3 to 4 feet high and wide in USDA zones 6 through 10 and is heat tolerant and drought resistant, which is great for my zone 7B88 in Georgia. In keeping in the yew family, they also have the spreading plum yew prostrata. This is evergreen, deer resistant, and grows to a height of 24 to 48 inches for $21.98. While the crepe myrtles aren't leaving out quite yet, they do have a few in stock, including the Delta Eclipse crepe myrtle, which is hardy to USDA zones 7 through 9 and grows to 8 to 10 feet tall and 4 to 6 feet wide, with these pretty lavender blooms in summer with contrasting burgundy leaves. These are marked at $21.98. Next is Paul's Gold Chamaecyparis, which has golden evergreen foliage reaching 5 feet tall and 6 feet wide and is hardy to USDA zones 5 through 8. Keeping with our golden colored shrubs and trees, we have the Forever Goldie Arborvitae, which grows 10 to 12 feet high and 3 to 3.5 feet wide, so it's got more of a narrow growth habit and is hardy in USDA zones 5 through 8. This conifer grows in an upright habit and is noted as water-wise and fast-growing, and I'm definitely a lover of all things golden colored, and this is no exception. Next is Down Home Harvest Rabbit Eye Blueberry Bushes from Southern Living. This is noted as a disease and pest resistant shrub that is heat tolerant and hardy to zones 7 through 9. We have the wintergreen boxwood for $10.98 that's cold hardy to -10 degrees Fahrenheit and grows to a height of 4 to 6 feet. Then there's the better boxwood Babylon Beautify, and that grows to 3 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide and is noted as disease resistant and hardy in USDA zones 5 through 9. Now they have several sizes of Japanese hollies ranging in price anywhere from $10.98 to $24.98, and that's including the soft touch and sky pencil varieties. The Oakland holly grows to 15 to 20 feet high and 12 to 15 feet wide and is hardy in zones 6 through 9. It's noted for full sun to part shade and has dense green foliage with pretty red berries in late winter. There are also several sizes of emerald green arborvitae, which is an evergreen tree with prices ranging anywhere from $10.98 to $42.98 depending on the size. They have white and pink dogwoods, which I absolutely love and just make me think of established southern gardens. And then they also have the beautiful Japanese flowering cherry Kwanzaa trees, both of which are $36.98. They also have Yoshino cherry trees that are $60.98 and are just starting to bloom when I went and looked at them, and they just look so pretty against the blue sky like you see here. These bloom early to mid-spring and are noted to grow 25 to 40 feet tall. They have the beautiful Bloodgood Japanese maples for $2.49. I personally have one of these in my garden and have had it for years and absolutely love it during all the seasons. These are marked for part sun, which I have mine planted in as well, and they grow 15 to 18 feet in height. They also have the Red Dragon Japanese maple for $119, which grows 8 to 10 feet high in part sun and is hardy to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I think this next plant could be a really neat anchoring plant in a landscaping bed, and this is the dwarf Alberta spruce conica, which is deer resistant and low maintenance, growing on the smaller side to 6 to 8 feet tall with this pretty, almost lime green foliage. They have Leland cypresses for $9.98. Now, I have a few of these as privacy trees in my yard and have found them easy to care for and fast growing. The height on these trees is 20 to 30 feet tall and they prefer full sun. There's the blue rug juniper, which is a ground cover that grows to a height of 6 inches, as well as the shore juniper growing to a height of 12 inches, and then the blue star juniper, which is my personal favorite for the color and the texture. This one grows to a height of 24 to 36 inches, is deer resistant and drought tolerant. Forsythia, which is an early spring blooming deciduous shrub with these sunny yellow flowers. This shrub grows to 8 feet in height, is low maintenance, and attracts bees and butterflies. This is the pretty Roseum elegans rhododendron, which is an evergreen shrub with rose lilac flowers that attracts butterflies and hummingbirds. They had tons of buds that are set to bloom in late spring. This frost-proof gardenia is an evergreen shrub that's deer resistant and grows to 36 to 48 inches in height. I absolutely love gardenias and it's one of my favorite scents in the garden. This blooms late spring through summer and costs $21.98. The azalea formosa is noted for part sun and blooms early to late spring, and just look at this pretty pink color. These azaleas are noted to attract hummingbirds and brighten a shadier type garden. There's the rhododendron PJM, which is a pretty evergreen shrub that has these lovely lavender purple blooms contrasting with the small dark green leaves, and it's noted for its heat and cold tolerance. The Carolina jasmine is a part sun vine growing to 10 to 20 feet and blooms with pretty tubular flowers in early to late spring and attracts hummingbirds. The lovely golden euonymus is a full sun shrub growing to 4 to 6 feet in height with these pretty variegated green and gold leaves. This is noted as a drought tolerant, very hardy, and low maintenance shrub. Now, this is a plant that I notice in fall and have considered adding it to my garden many times, and that's the pink muley grass. This is a perennial grass that has beautiful pink plumes in fall. While this grass doesn't look like much now, it's so pretty as it fills in and is a low maintenance grass noted for USDA zones 5 through 9. They have red mandevilla that grows 24 to 36 inches in height and blooms early spring to fall. These flowers attract bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds and are really just such a really pretty addition to a spring and summer garden, in my opinion. There's tropical hibiscus that also bloom early spring to fall, and I really like this one in particular with the orange pink coloring and ruffled petals, and think it would be so striking to add to a container. In addition, they have pre-planted hibiscus in white containers for $17.98 as well, with pretty red blooms. Okay, so there are a lot of hanging baskets to choose from, beginning with the wave petunias here for $18.98. These are actually the easy wave petunias, which are earlier flowering petunias compared to some of the other varieties. They have pink double knockout roses, which are definitely easier roses to care for to me than some other varieties. These bloom spring to frost in zones 5 through 11 and are self-cleaning, meaning you don't have to deadhead them, which is an added bonus. They also have the double knockout roses pruned to a bit more of a topiary form, which I thought was really pretty and would look great in a larger container. They have annual dianthus and petunias for $1.98 in 1 pint sizes. Both attract bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds to the garden. There are hanging baskets of begonias if you're looking for baskets for a shadier area, and these come in different flower and foliage color options to choose from as well, with my personal favorite being the white color of the flowers with the bright green foliage. The Super Trooper Dianthus pot carnation is a late spring to fall perennial with ruffled petals that grow 8 to 10 inches in height. They're noted to have a clove-like fragrance and attract bees and butterflies while detracting deer. There's also creeping phlox, which is an early to late spring perennial bloomer for $7.98 in both pink and lavender. Next, I came across the perennial dianthus pink kisses variety for $5.48. These have pretty two-tone flowers that bloom in early spring and are hardy to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we have the dianthus love you variety for $7.98, which is another earlier blooming dianthus that attracts bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. They have several vegetables, fruits, and herbs out, beginning with their blueberries and raspberries that ran really anywhere from $10.98 to $18.98. Now, some of the vegetables that they have currently in stock include tomatoes, lettuce, peppers, and cabbage, while herbs included basil, cilantro, rosemary, parsley, and sage, to name several that I ran across. And they generally ranged anywhere from $4.98 to $5.98 from what I could see overall. They have Kimberly Queen ferns that were $19.98 but were on sale at the time that I visited for $12.88. Now, they had several peach, plum, apple, and pear trees in stock, but I had a really difficult time actually finding the prices on a lot of them, but did want to mention that they did have them in stock if that's something that you're looking for. All right, so now we're moving on into my favorite part, which is the annuals and perennials. First, we have pre-planted calla lilies in this beautiful peach and pink color that reminds me of spring and Easter. These are part sun perennials that bloom early spring to summer and grow 18 to 36 inches in height. Now they have a few different colors of hellebores in stock, which are late winter and early spring blooming perennials. I have a video about hellebores that I'll include in the description if you'd like to learn more about these lovely perennials and adding them to your garden. Okay, you guys, look at this next perennial and these cute little flowers. This is rockfoil, which is a full sun perennial blooming mid to late spring. These are low growing, growing to 6 to 8 inches in height, and I think they would look so cute tucked around rocks or maybe at an entryway. They have Asiatic lilies that are just about to really start blooming, and these are marked at $5.98. Now, I was able to find a couple that were blooming in that beautiful bright orange color that you're seeing here. There's Candy Tuft, which is another ground cover that I think looks so nice in more of a rock garden type of area, especially. This has small white flowers that bloom in spring and is noted to bloom best in full sun, but can tolerate some shade. They have pre-planted lavender that looked really nice planted in the white containers against the green foliage and bluish purple flowers. Lavender is deer resistant and drought tolerant and attracts both bees and butterflies. Next, we have geranium, which I love to plant in the ground and in containers. This is a full sun annual that blooms spring to frost, are rabbit and deer resistant, which I can attest to as I have both visitors to my garden. They also attract hummingbirds and butterflies, which just adds even more value to me when I'm looking to add plants to my garden. Next, we have the Pericallus Sonetti Annual for part sun that's marked at $7.98. These bloom early spring to summer and come in vibrant colors like the bright pink and purple that you see here. They have Majesty palms pre-planted in the containers that you see here for $49.98 that just look absolutely beautiful with the sun shining through the green fronds. They had several varieties of heuchera or coral bells in stock for $16.98. Heuchera has beautiful foliage and is noted to be practically carefree and does well in both the landscape and in containers. They have this lovely fairy trail green hydrangea in stock, which is noted as hardy in USDA zones 6 through 9 and grows to 4 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide and grows in a cascading habit that blooms in late spring and attracts hummingbirds, butterflies, and bees. There's the Poco Loco Abelia, which looked really interesting to me. The foliage is noted to come in with an orange hue, then changing to green with pink new growth, and blooms with fragrant pink flowers in the summer. If you have any experience with this plant, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion about having this plant in your garden. They have both petunias and calibrachoa in stock. Now, if you guys have been watching for a while, then you'll know I actually prefer Calibrachoa to petunias, and I touch on why in my top 5 annuals video, which I'll link in the description and at the end of this video if you'd like to learn more. We have Dusty Miller, which I love having as an accent plant, and actually planted some in the fall in hanging baskets, and they're still doing very well. I'll insert a picture here so you can see how they look and how you can pair and offset other colors quite well, with my personal favorite pairing being with blue or purple colored flowers with the Dusty Miller. This next flower is annual phlox. Now, I'm a lover of perennial garden phlox and was really excited to see this annual phlox as well. This is a spring blooming phlox that attracts hummingbirds and butterflies and is noted as very easy to care for. Next, they have pre-planted floral hydrangeas for $34.98 in this lovely pink and then a greenish color with brighter pink edges that I thought was really unique and pretty as well. Now, this is one of my favorite plants to add to containers, and that's the creeping Jenny. I actually have this coming back in several containers from last year and absolutely love the bright chartreuse color and how it drapes from containers and hanging baskets. It's noted for full and part sun, and I've had it in both, and it does very well for me. Next, we have the Tradescantia Purple Queen and the Tradescantia Zebrina. While I haven't owned the Purple Queen, I've really enjoyed having Zebrina in hanging baskets and in containers planted with summer annuals. Both are lower growing plants with a trailing habit, but the Zebrina has to be the standout plant for me because of its striking silvery green and purple foliage. Next, we have another plant that I've used in containers, but more as a backdrop to other flowers due to its upright growth habit, and that's the Persian shield. This is a part sun annual that is really unique with almost shiny purple green foliage that I think is very eye catching and a great addition to containers. They have Liriope Super Blue and Liriope Aztec Grass that you'll see here with the variegated color. I personally use liriope in my garden as a ground cover to help with erosion on a slight hill that I have in my garden. It's proven to be very low maintenance and has the added benefit of purple blooms in late summer, like the ones I'm showing from my garden here. They have hen and chicks, which is a really neat perennial succulent that I absolutely love. The added benefit, in addition to the ease of maintenance, is that you can separate the offsets or chicks from the parent plant or hen to create even more plants. They have pre-planted snapdragons for right under $14. These are annuals that I've had a lot of success with and currently have in my front garden beds and in containers. I'll link my video about snapdragons in the description if you'd like to learn more about these great and unique flowers and adding them to your garden. This next plant was interesting to me, and I don't think I've seen it before. It's the Sunfinity sunflowers, and it notes that it blooms continuously throughout the summer. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a price for these, but thought that was definitely worth mentioning and might be interesting to try in the garden. If you guys have had any experience with that, please let me know in the comments. I'd really like to hear what you thought about this plant. They have the Stella d'Oro daylilies, which are very dependable and easy to grow, blooming from early summer to fall. They're a more compact daylily, growing to 12 inches in height in a compact habit, and as they mature, they can be divided to create additional plants to enjoy around your garden. Next is the beautiful delphinium for $7.98, and these are noted to prefer sun in the mornings with protection from the sun in the afternoon in climates where it's hotter. One thing I wanted to point out here is how the pairing of the pretty bluish purple color of the delphinium with the orange of the daylilies looks so nice with each other. I absolutely love this combination and just thought it looked so pretty and wanted to point that out to you guys. And one thing I do when I am walking around these nurseries is I will take plants and place them side by side and just see how they look and how the color offsets. And I always make sure to put my plants back. But I just wanted to give that idea to you guys to kind of carry your plants around, put them in your cart, and see what works and pairs nicely and is pleasing to your eye as well. They have perennial lantana for $16.98. This bandana variety grows to 3 to 5 feet high and blooms early to late summer, attracting bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Lantana prefers full sun and is deer resistant, and I think is just a great addition to the garden and really attracts a lot of butterflies to your garden as well. And I've got a couple of pictures here of butterflies in my garden on my perennial lantana. They have stalk, which is an upright annual reaching a height of 8 to 16 inches and blooms spring and summer. These attract bees and butterflies and I think would be a really pretty addition to containers. They have Enduroscape verbena, which is a full sun perennial that blooms summer into fall. It has a spreading habit, and I've actually used mine to drape over a retaining wall, which I'm showing here. These attract hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies and are a low maintenance addition to the garden. Thank you guys so much for coming with me today to Home Depot. I had such a great time and I always enjoy seeing what they have in stock and sharing that with you guys. Now, I'll be doing that in the upcoming weeks as well as starting to plant in the springtime. We've got lots of planting coming up with flowers and different vegetables and things like that. So you guys make sure to stay tuned for all those videos and that information. And you can do that by subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me again. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.